Hello and welcome to Industry Insight Sessions from Change in Education. My name is Amos Madra and I'm a careers advisor here at Change in Education. And in this Industry Insight session, we get to speak to experts about their own careers and get some tips and advice on how they can help you in your own career journey. Well, joining me today is Jason. Jason, a very warm welcome to you. Let me give you a full brief of who Jason is and what he does. Jason Thomas is the Regional Recruitment Manager for University Campus of Football Business. That's UCFB. You might have seen the adverts there. It's usually on ESPN, I believe. But yeah, Jason is the Regional Manager for the South and is very busy in terms of what he does with UCFB. So we'll get to speak to Jason and find out a bit more. Jason, a warm welcome to you. How you doing?
Thank you very much, Amos. I'm very well. Thank you. Glad it's Friday, put it that way. So,
yes, indeed. Yeah.
6 more days this Christmas.
I can see you already in the festive mood there already. So yeah, everything's all set up there, isn't it? It's looking good.
Thank you.
So Jason, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role?
Yeah, so about myself, so I'm 37 years old. I'm from Fulham, central London. That's where I'm born and bred. Bit about myself, I always loved sport. Always been involved in sport, whether it's amateur or semi-professional level. That's mainly to do with football and swimming. Growing up around the area, I was quite lucky that we have a lot of heritage in sport in the UK, but particularly where I live in Fulham, because in Fulham, London, you have 3 professional clubs. You have Centre of Excellences as well. You have Wimbledon down the road. So growing up, always been encompassed in sport. Never reached the highest heights in terms of playing it, but I always realized there's another alternative to playing, which is working in the industry. So that's what I chose at a young age, knowing from the age of 17, 18 that I probably won't make it as a pro, but what ways can I work with a team in another capacity? So that's been my journey, to be fair, all the way up until what I do now. My role with UCFB now is to basically manage like 11 counties. So if you draw a line between Bath and Colchester, there's about 11 counties south of that. So me and my colleague manage those counties and basically drive out, do presentations and events and speak to people about careers in sport and career paths for UCFB. So it's been a long journey, lots of experience, but it's been rewarding. And that's the best thing I would say, you know, is that I love what I do because it's rewarding and I get great job satisfaction.
I love your enthusiasm about it, and that clearly comes through. You know, from a passion of playing football, and now you've gone into the business side of it. How was that transition for you? What was that time like when you were dealing with, you know, maybe this professional football's not going to work out, but now there is the business side of it? How did you discover that, and how did you deal with that transition?
Yeah, no, it's good question. I mean, it was quite tough at the beginning because it's a new landscape, isn't it? Whenever there's change or there's a new way of doing something that you're not familiar with, you're trying to sit there sussing it out. So that was my thing for about nearly 6 months to a year, that, you know, that transition of 16 and a half to 17 years old, played semi-professional, but ended up playing Sunday league, and, you know, I had bad injuries as well. I tore my knee ligaments at the age of 12. And even you could have knee ligaments at the age of 12, but I tore them. And then my ankle ligaments went as well. I ripped through the ligaments. So like everything was against me. And yeah, that year transition was tough. 6 years to 12 months. You know, I left my sixth form. So I went to a really strict Catholic school in London. And I left that sixth form because nothing was really working for me. But I left with a plan. And that's what I'd done. I left where I was like, I'm leaving, but I'm going to try to work for the next year until September comes around again. So I worked in the city as a tailorist when I was turning 17, just doing measurements in people's suits in the city on Fleet Street. And when September came around, I went to Richmond College, which is in Twickenham. And what I'd done was an apprenticeship. So I was finding out during that year, what do I like to do? And through working, I realized that I'm a worker rather than a studier. I like to work. I'm more stimulated from working, but how can I merge working and education together? Because I wasn't done with studying. I know that I can't just leave the GCSEs, you know, to go out into the world. I limit myself to GCSEs. If I get A levels, I've got a better chance. If I go to university, then I can get maybe my dreams come true. So yeah, I found that as a worker, then I can merge my skill set with my passion together. And I chose to do an apprenticeship in sport. That's where I found myself. So
Yeah.
now I'm working in the industry. Now I'm working with colleagues. I'm working in a high energetic environment. It doesn't replace playing. Don't
Yeah.
get it wrong. Nothing could beat playing, but I'm doing something as a great alternative that's giving me similar kind of job satisfactions. And, I continue playing through coaching. So instead of playing, I was coaching. I became a football coach, a swimming coach, and also a personal trainer. So I was getting a lot of alternatives really quickly from that disappointment, and it turned really positive really quickly. And that propelled me going forward, to be fair. And I continue that same motive and energy.
Where did that positivity come from?
Where did it come from? Probably my mum, to be fair. Like, my mum, me and my brother brought up in a single parent family in an estate in Fulham. It wasn't the best of times, to be fair, but she kept it real. She kept it positive. She any school trip I wanted to go on to, she worked extra jobs. She was a work ethic. You wouldn't know she had a bad day. She was just always happy. And I know that probably deep down she was struggling, but we had everything: cooked meals, loads of great field trips, loads of exposure, loads of leisure time, trying different sports, different activities. And I think that's where it comes from, that positivity, that exposure from a young age, and realizing that life is tough, you have to work hard for it, but it can be beautiful at the same time. And realizing there will always be tough journeys, but you just have to overcome them and keep pursuing.
Yeah. I mean, I love your energy, and you seem to be very enthusiastic again about what you do. Would you say hard work pays off in doing what you do and being as successful as you have?
Yeah, 100%. I would say that you only get out what you put in. So if I'm going to turn up and put in a little bit, I'm only going to get a little bit out. I can't rely really on no one. Yeah, I've got the support networks everywhere, but it's down to me to take ownership of what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to be. I think at a young age, it's hard to know who you are, what you're trying to be, what you want to do. It's such a big distance in front of you. But at the age of, year 11, year 10, year 12, you got to start configuring it. Something's got to click in your head. And I think the more exposure you have to different environments, different people, even the network session we're having, squeezes out of you a little bit more, time by time, a bit of who you are and what you want to become. So I just think through trials and tribulations, you realize more about yourself. But you need to have these experiences from a young age. You need to expose yourself to different environments, different people, and have people skills, have tangible experiences. Don't hide behind Google. Don't hide behind your phone, because you lose the concept of, what it's like to speak to people, how to conduct yourself in certain environments. And I think that's massive, because some people feel lost when they go into the workplace because they haven't had the genuine kind of general contact time with other people or how to conduct themselves. But it starts at a young age. And luckily that my work gave me that opportunity to learn that. So.
And how can somebody who's still studying gain those experiences?
Good question. I would say, first of all, go and do some work. If you're old enough to do it, go and do it. If you're not, go and do some voluntary work. I think working can help, even if you're not working, voluntary or paid, you can still help out around your community. So I used to help out with my church when I was 14 and do things. And it doesn't mean you clean the church or do boring stuff. Sometimes there's activities that are sporty or leisurely and stuff like that, or cooking. You cook for the community and stuff.
Church football team.
Church, hey, why not? Like, there shouldn't be no cards there. There'd be like a confession box out and a dugout, wouldn't there? But
that's how a lot of these football teams started, wasn't it? Through the church.
Churchgoers, yeah. Everton Football Club. Everton were founded by churchgoers and stuff like that.
Man City and so on, yeah.
That's right. Right. So, yeah. Again, just keep your ears and eyes open. Try to really stay positive. And if you get things wrong in life, just keep pursuing, because getting things wrong is part of the process. And I think today's world, that getting things wrong, it seems like you got it totally wrong, when it's not. It's just a reality check, getting things wrong. And I've got things so many times wrong. And yeah, it's easy to say when you're young that you're judging it right, but you just got to speak to people, get experiences, understand that you're not alone. And the more you speak to people, the more you understand that actually, together we can move forward.
Yeah, I like that. So what would you say your day-to-day is like? What happens from when you wake up to when you finish work?
Well, I don't really sleep at the moment because my 2-year-old keeps me up. So he's having a sleep regression. But literally from about 6:30 in the morning up, ready. My working office day starts at 8:30. So normally my office is based in Wembley Stadium, so I would drive from where I live. So I've moved. It's nice. It's not a bad place to work. Like, I'm telling you, you get 40% access to the stadium, and my office is one of the boxes that overlook the pitch, and you can slide the doors, and sit on a tier and just watch the groundsman and smell fresh cut grass.
Wow.
And even seeing like an NFL game or a music concert, being prepared, because we get kicked out the day before an event, but you see that. So going to work, for me, I enjoy it. You know, I look forward to it. And, you know, so 8:30, I'll go to work, go to my office, you know, have my cup of tea, my breakfast, my porridge, and just go through my emails and just set myself up ready. But normally with my job, it's not about sitting there and just doing emails. I do projects, I do events, you know, I manage 11 counties. So, you know, for my Monday and Tuesday is looking at my whole month or my whole week ahead and saying, where do I need to be? What time do I need to be there? Sometimes I'm doing 3 or 4 events a day. Right now it's COVID. So unfortunately, we're doing a lot of virtual events as we are now. But if we wasn't doing virtual, I'd probably be at the college or with yourself, you know, presenting on assemblies stage, going to classrooms and doing classroom settings, doing workshops. It could be involving also me taking groups into Wembley and hosting them for 4 or 5 hours to show them an academic taster, to show them a tour of the stadium, a tour of UCFB in the stadium, and also to do a workshop with them. So, you know, my day is quite diverse in terms of what it does. So it always starts kind of admin based, and eventually I'll always go to a school, a college, or a football club and speak to players under 23s at academies about, if you don't make it as a player, then you can study football or sport at a level that you can work with a team alternatively. But and then that's Monday to Friday, and on a Saturday I do my old job, which is teaching swimming. So I drive from where I live now in Surrey, I drive to Fulham where I used to live, and I teach swimming for about 6 hours, and then Sunday's like a rest day. So
wow, very busy.
and then on top of that as well, Amos. So like when I was a student at UCFB, you know Dragon's Den, the competition, right? So we do something similar in UCFB where you have a chance to win money to start a business. Like I'd done that competition, I didn't win it. I blame my group, but it was good because I still got to learn about how to start a business plan, marketing plan. And I spoke to my lecturers and they were like, yeah, great, you got some business concepts. And fast forward a year later, in 2018, I co-founded a business, and I'm a director of my business now. So I do football fans experience days. So I do football fans experience days. I show more than just the game. I show the community. I show the back. See what you said about churchgoers. Yeah. So I run an itinerary with every football club, the professional clubs, and look at the history of the club and where they started from around their stadiums, and tour people around that and bring them into the club. So we're up in attendances, but showing them the culture and the fan culture of British fan culture, because it's very unique here, and it's celebrated around the world. So yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. What would you say you enjoy doing the most?
Good question. It's gonna be bad, isn't it, if I say my swim teaching, because UCFB is my thing, innit? Like I love doing that. I love going to football clubs. I get access to professional stadiums and like training grounds, and I love that. But teaching swimming is like teaching someone how to walk. Teaching swimming is giving someone a life skill that you've taught them, and they have it for life. And the kind of like feedback I've got from lessons, for example, like I've taught a girl that was like 6 years old, like 10 years ago, and now she was like 16, but she saved someone and she related it to my swim teaching. And then another time I was teaching a woman who was 67 years old and she's never swum in her life, had bad experiences. She's got grandchildren, can't go to aqua parks, can't go on holiday to the beach. After about 4 or 5 months, she swims lengths now, and she couldn't swim at all. And that to me is giving someone like an extra bit of life, you know. We're teaching them something, they can save someone, they can save themselves, but there's so many opportunities from swimming. And we live on an island. People forget we live on an island. You know,
you better know how to swim.
yeah, we got 3 seas that surround us. We got reservoirs, lakes, rivers everywhere, and you got to know how to swim, right? But no, for me, Amos, like swimming is very difficult because not everyone has access to swimming. Like when I was growing up, there's leisure centers. The sports become very privatized. So it has a lot of sports. So access to your general public is minimum. You need to have a lot of money to have the basics now. So when I give swimming, it's always to a good rate and to everyone, to try to be inclusive.
And I think well, there you go. You've actually hit the nail on the head there. It's that inclusivity, and it's more than just the act of swimming. I mean, of course, swimming itself, you know, like you said, that young girl who managed to save somebody's life as a result of doing lessons, but then also in how you're impacting people's lives, changing people's lives for the better, and it's changing the way they see themselves and also how they relate to other people. So it's a snowball effect. You're affecting other people who were directly not connected to yourself, but as a result of your teaching. It's definitely affected people. So I can see why that's such an important thing for you. What would your advice be to your younger self?
Ooh. Don't be too hard on yourself, because I was very serious at a young age, and I was like really disappointed in myself because I'd really a lot of reality checks, and I just thought I'm not good enough and put myself down. So not to be hard on yourself, and I would have probably, I don't know. I think to my young self, not just with the steps I took, but I would have probably looked at my options a bit more widely. I fell into an apprenticeship quite well at the age of 17. But if I knew when I was at sixth form, before applying to sixth form, I should have done that apprenticeship sooner. Yeah, it was only 18 months from me leaving sixth form to going to do an apprenticeship. It wasn't that long, but it's long enough where I could have fell off the radar and maybe got up to something else, or got up to bad habits, or focused on my social bubble rather than my future bubble, looking at what's around me for the meantime, hanging around up to because you get stuck in the mud when you do that.
Yeah.
And 18 months can turn into 18 years.
Yeah.
And, my job is the mentor. So I do mentoring as well. So I part mentor, and that's my advice, you don't be hard on yourself, and realize that your friends are always going to be your mates. You don't need to be over competitive and to be the best or the most aggressive, or just focus on what you got to do going forward, because everything else will follow. So, we try and make little professionals now, don't we? At the age of, 13 and 14 and 15, you can be a role model. And that's what, maybe if you convert your energy the right way, like me, I believed in a lot of things, but I didn't use my energy the right way. So yeah, I would have probably said that to myself, and channeled it a bit differently, but all worked well in the end. So it's quite fortunate.
That's isn't it? No time is ever wasted. So at least it's all worked out well for you. What are your plans for the future?
I have a 2-week break for Christmas. That's the immediate future, because we've been working flat out since. But good question. I went to UCFB to study football business, not to really work at UCFB. I love what I do at UCFB. I wouldn't do a job I don't love. So therefore, me moving on, I need to find another job I love. I love football. The reason why I went to study at UCFB, a business degree, where I have no idea about business and I'm rubbish at maths, is to work in football. So I challenged myself. I've got a 2-1 degree in football business. I want to work at a football club, or I want to work with the FA, the national body. So the exposure that I've had during my career at UCFB, in terms of my student career, I worked with UEFA, I worked with Brentford, I worked with Queen's Park Rangers, I worked with Sweden under 17s, I worked with a lot of clubs and organizations, and I had a great feel for marketing, and I helped Brentford with their new stadium move as well, and how to market that. And I've got some
very nice new stadium.
Yeah, it's nice, man. Yeah. It's not nice when you're a QPR fan and you get battered 2-1 down there, but you got to put up with that. But that's my thing for the future, because right now I manage 11 counties, and as you see, not as you see, but as you probably hear soon, I've got a 2-year-old. And when you got a family and you're trying to settle, you driving around, 365 days of the year, it's like rock and roll. It's like going on tour. I need to be more stable, more situated at a club or at the national body, working on a brand. So for me, ideally, working with QPR, that would be great. That's the club I support. I do work there on match days, and I do that fan engagement, which is part marketing, and that's what I'm doing. So although I'm doing that, I'm doing stepping stones into the other avenues, and then I can relinquish one and start another. But that's what I want to do: marketing in a club, marketing for the FA, and also try to do more inclusion programs. Set up like inclusion programs around boroughs of London, eventually spread to the UK. When I say inclusion programs, I'm talking about exercise for all. So for example, we're looking at something called block sports. So like you got estates, and looking at estates and how to use the ramps and the pitches in the middle for exercises for people that live there who really can't afford to exercise, and then getting those into qualifications where someone who's sitting down, who's now training, is now qualified. So I want to create little role models in communities where it just, like you say, a snowball effect, where everyone looks after each other, and it starts from mums and dads and comes down to teenagers and kids as well. So that's going to be another side project as well. But yeah, club first, and then that.
Yeah, and I'm sure it won't be long before that will be into full existence soon. You've got the, enthusiasm again, and you've got the personality for it and the great energy, and I'm sure that will definitely happen. So how can people find out more about you?
They can find out more about me by taking my email address, taking my work number. My job is to engage, whether it's one-to-one or a group. I'm happy to read out my number now and my email address if people want to take note. They can use this session as a reference to how they've kind of engaged. and then basically just say like, I heard what you said, or I'm not too sure what I'm doing, or I'm thinking about this, or I'm now looking at that. What do you think? Can I get some advice? I'm open all ears to every channel. So even if like you don't want to go to UCFB, but you want a career in sport, then speak to me anyway. It's not a problem. I'm not here to get you into UCFB. I'm here to advise. So you can email me. I don't know if you want me to say it now, Amos, or
Yeah,
do you want
you
me to
can
send it
go
to you?
for it.
Do you
Yeah,
want me to say it? So
yeah.
guys have got pens, papers, or phones if you're allowed them in class. And so it's going to be J.Thomas. So all lowercase, no capitals. So J.THOMAS at UCFB.com. Okay, so J.Thomas at UCFB.com. Work number, don't be phoning it after 5:30 because I won't pick up. Neither on a Sunday, I don't pick up, but you can drop me WhatsApps, texts, and phone it. So it's going to be 07495 074 again 904. I say it. So 07495 074 904. If you go to ucfb.ac.uk, if you go to that marketing recruitment tab, I'm there as well. So you can read a bit about me, what I do. My contact details are there as well. If you want to reach me on Twitter, I'm on Thomas at UCFB on Twitter as well. And yeah, we'll find each other from there. And then from that, we're engaged. We'll do one-to-ones, or when next year comes and we can, we'll invite you into Wembley Stadium and show you around.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you.
Make sure you're there as well, Amos.
Well, there we go. We've got the invitation now, so definitely have to try and get there. Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk to us. Just again, hearing your story, despite all the injuries that you went through, from knee ligament to ankle ligament to ligaments I'd never heard of. It's just the injuries were consistent, and that would have been enough for anyone, leave alone, a 12-year-old, dealing with these things, to give up on. But the fact that, you still were so resilient and you found something in that dark time and you were able to make something positive out of it. And what you do today, helping people, whether it's with the swimming or whether it's with, what you're doing with your future projects, there's lots of things that you are doing to really help shape people's lives and to change people's lives for the better. And we just want to say thank you for that. And we wish you all the very best with everything that you do.
No, thank you so much, Amos, man. And thank you for the kind words as well. And again, I just look forward to like future engagements with yourself and to your groups and who's listening today. And again, just want to say thank you to the audience for your time and for your ears. And I hope you found it useful in some form. And again, I just look forward to speaking and hearing from you guys soon.